Hello again, my friends. How's everybody doing? Thank you, Jenna. I wanted something that was like a little less Chad, something that was a little more, we're just going to sit and chat, coffee house style. So, how's everybody doing? How's the rest of your day going? I am having a cup of hot chocolate and kind of just easing into my afternoon. So, things have been good this week. It's been a lot of, getting the last few things done that I could get done now for both the launch of Scroll and Scribe and Inkspire Indie. For those of you who are still looking for tickets to Inkspire Indie, I have pinned um, the link up there. And if you are not on my newsletter, you can use the code SPRINTS, SPRINTS, at checkout for 25% off. But having said that, you're going to want to be where I am when I go live for the next while, because between now and the 9th of June, every time I go live, whether it's over on the Scroll and Scribe channel or this channel, I will be giving away 2 tickets for Inkspire Indie, one live and one on the replay. And thank you, Jenna, for the instructions on doing the StreamYard giveaway tool. I remembered to bring it up this time, so in a little bit here, we'll go ahead and give away another ticket. So that's going to be fun. And things are, like I was saying in my newsletter, things are slowing down as far as this mad dash to get these things done for the launch. And I'm still kind of dealing with the whole anxiety of I really should be doing something. Like, I should be working on the launch. Why am I not working on the launch? Well, I'm actually ahead of all of the tasks that I wanted to do, that I needed to get done by this date. I'm way ahead. So that's kind of exciting in a way, because one, it's going to allow me to have some downtime before the actual launch, and before Inkspire Indie on the 15th of June. And it's going to allow me to get back into my edits for Vengeful Soul a lot sooner, because I was actually going to put those off until the first week of June and having 2 solid weeks of, editing. And if I edit a chapter a day, I will have everything ready to send off to Jenna by no later than the 31st. Yeah, so, but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? Like, why am I not working on this? Why am I not working on this? It makes no sense. And anxiety is like that. It makes no sense. So I'm just allowing myself to feel the anxiety, because if I don't, it'll become overwhelming, and it will stop me from doing things like my edits. And I don't want that. I don't want that. This is my job now, so I have to figure out a way to take the anxiety along with me. But it's coming along, and I'm really, really pleased with the way things are going. I'm even starting out with a couple of days this week of spending like 2 hours twice this week, I worked into my schedule, that I'm going to start plotting book 2. I can't believe I'm plotting book 2 already. Because part of me can't believe that I'm plotting book 2 because I haven't got book 1 finished and in the can. But it's like Tracy was saying to me, Jody Jean Daniels, she was saying to me that, you can do more than one book at a time, because I can't do anything for Vengeful Soul while Jenna is working on it. And by the way, for those of you who are looking for an editor, I believe Jenna still has Slots open, Jenna, correct me if I'm wrong. And if I'm not, feel free to drop a link there. Because when Jenna has that, I can't work on it because it's gotten to a point where now it's in the hands of someone else. And I'm not going to, Jenna's out of slots until August. So if you've got something that is, if you have something that's going to be done and you want edited for the fall, get in Jenna's books now. And she's only has opening for coaching clients for the time being. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and drop your link there, Jenna, so that people they know how to get a hold of you, because that's the thing. I mean, Jenna's she's amazing at what she does. So she books up fast. Yes, this is true. Jenna's an amazing coach. Jenna is an amazing coach, so I would say book her coaching package for sure. And because there's a lot of stuff that she does as a coach that will benefit you while you're in edits. So having said that, there's Jenna's link. Thank you, hon. No worries. So while my book is in Jenna's hands, I will be plotting book 2, but I will also be working on the pen name novella that I'm doing for Ream, and also launching a separate business at the same time. Excuse me. Honest to God, I think maybe I do have allergies, because my nose is itchy and my eyes are itchy. But anyway, yeah, I think that I need to get back to my writing, because I have put so much time, energy, and effort into the launch of this business that I wasn't writing. I gave up the writing thing since, what was it? March? Since February, when I started the program with the not-for-profit. That's all I had focused on. And I lost a lot of the joy of not only being an author and a coach and, coached other authors, all of this sort of thing, but I had even lost the joy of running my own business, right? I had lost the joy of my time is my own. I get to make my schedule. I get to decide how things are going to be done. I have nobody to answer to but myself. I had lost the joy of that. So the next 6 weeks, because we are already halfway through the quarter. So for the rest of this quarter, I am going to be focusing on getting the joy back. And there's a lot of joy in putting out this new, starting this new company and putting up this, day-long event and the whole 9 yards. There's a lot of joy for me in that. I really enjoy the business end of my business. But I enjoy it when I'm doing it for me, because right up until this point, I was not doing it for me. I was doing it to satisfy the milestones I had to hit for the not-for-profit, their rules, their what they needed for me to do in order to keep my funding. And I felt like I was back in a 9-to-5 job. Only it was not 9 to 5. It was 16-hour days, 7 days a week, and the business plan that was driving me up the wall, and burnout. I was burnt. See, this is it right here. It's so hard to have passion for the daily when, all I want to do is coach, write, and occasionally edit. There you go. And yes, and Jenna, you rock it. You rock it because you just get it done, because you're going to get there, right? You're going to get there. This is not this place that you're at now is not where you're going to stay. And I think that's what I was not realizing, was that this place where I had fallen back into that employee mentality that instead of having that entrepreneurial mentality of, I am doing this for me. I had fallen into the, I have to do this and I have to do this and this has got to be done by Monday and I have to be at this place at this time and you know and then getting annoyed because I'm in a class where they're teaching stuff that I already know, but I still have to, be butt in the chair or they're going to cut my funding and I lost my joy. I lost it. So that's kind of the plan. That's kind of the plan of that's another reason why I put a couple of days of plotting into this week is because that's one of my favorite things to do is start plotting a new book because I get to work with you know, the washi tape and the color coding and the index cards and I get to do that. To me, that's fun. So I decided that I would start plotting early. And then the coolest thing happened. I found an in-person writing group. Somebody reached out and they were like, "Hey, we're, a bunch of writers and we want to get together every other Wednesday night and just get together and write." And keeping in mind the genre that I write and the person that I am, these are all also queer creatives. So I was really super excited about that. And our first meeting is this coming Wednesday, and it's during Jenna's sprint. So I'm going to be in the cafe with Jenna up in the background, and I'm going to be doing my thing with a bunch of um, creatives, which I haven't had that since before the pandemic. And I'm really super, super excited. And I think that's just like one little missing piece of the puzzle. I mean, I'm not super extroverted. Really, I'm not. Mm. See, this is hard because you were out, right? you you were out. And it's hard when you have to go back to working for somebody else. And that's not to say that I might not have to do that at some point. I might have to take a part-time job or something at some point. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because I mean, you got to pay the bills and you got to do the thing. But in the meantime, I'm going to get back to the joy of not just being an author, but being a business owner. Because to me, running a business, it's like play. Because I've done it all my life. I mean, I can remember being, yay high, and my father giving me tasks to do when we would go on vacation. I still have the little 3-ring binder that he gave me. It's like literally this big, and I still have most of the original paper, where if we would go on vacation, it was my job to track our mileage. And when I say mileage, it was like, okay, we're going this many miles today, and here's how much gas I put in the car. So now you need to figure out what our mileage is for the car. And things like keeping track of how much we were spending on hotels and meals and and that was amazing. That was an amazing skill set that he taught me at a very young age. It's like when I was 10 and I started my first business. I started my first business when I was 10. My father gave me an investment. He took me to the feed store and he bought a bag of chicken feed, two feeders, and 2 water containers. And then he took me to the local egg farmer up the road and purchased 6 young laying hens for me. And that was his investment in my business. And then I convinced my grandparents to invest in a basket for the front of my bicycle. And I started selling eggs. And I charged $2 a dozen because, of course, this is back in the like 1982, 1983. $2 a dozen. $3 if you wanted them delivered to you. Man, I was a tycoon. Let me tell you. But that to me was fun. So it was my job once my father had done the initial investment that I had to like that money that I made. I couldn't just go out and spend that because I had to buy feed for my chickens. I had to make sure that like there was one time I had to buy a new chain for my bicycle. Okay. That was a business expense. I would have to, I had a chicken that broke one of my watering containers, so I had to go buy a new one of those. And that was fun for me. It was also a real thing that my dad and I like bonded over. Okay. And I had to take care of my birds. I started out with 6. I grew my flock. Every year I added 2 chickens. Every spring I added 2 chickens. And I think I kept that up until I was like 15 or 16 years old when things like boys and basketball became more important to me. Um, but it was really something that dad and I bonded over, and it gave me my love of running a business, right? Because that he made it fun. He made it fun. But on the flip side of that coin, because my father owned his own business from, oh gosh, I think for 30 years. He only gave up his business, I think, about a year before he got sick. So about 30 years, and I helped him start this business. But in doing that, the flip side of that coin was a growing hatred of working for somebody else. And by hatred, I mean hatred. By the time I had my son, I was absolutely just the thought of working for other people turned my stomach, made me depressed, made me wanna, like, do anything I could to not go to work for somebody else. I did after when he got older. I mean, there were bills to pay. I had to, you know, I had to keep a roof over our heads. So but I hated it. I hated every second of it. And I always had a business on the side. No matter what, I always had a business on the side. Um, this is it, right? Right? And this I hate. I hate this for me and I hate this for you, Jenna. So-called business of yours is your hobby. This is not a hobby. It's not a hobby. It's your passion. It's your passion, and you're supposed to be not. You don't necessarily always have to make money on your passion, but if you're like us, if you're like myself, and definitely like Jenna, you will work your butt off to turn your passion into your everyday. Um, and anybody that says that, I would say they're projecting. I would say they're jealous, and I would just be they would go on my in spite of list. I have a rather long in spite of list. All the people who told me you can't, uh-huh. They're the reason I do it because I'm spidey like that. I'm so sorry, KL. I'm sorry that you have to put up with that. See, that's not cool. That's not cool. And that's also why I'm single. I just, I still have people in my life that will look at me and go, "So are you gonna go get a job or what? What do you mean am I gonna go get a job? I have a job and I work twice as hard for myself as I do for anybody else." You know? Just because you shouldn't doesn't mean you can't. There you go. And you know what? You should, right? Just because they say you shouldn't doesn't mean you can't. Usually means you can because, dig out the spite. Yeah, definitely, Jenna. But, do it in spite of. Sometimes these negative emotions that we have, they can serve. You ever anger clean? You ever been like get into a fight with your significant other and you're just so ticked off, and then the next thing you know, the whole house is clean? That was me. I used to be an anger cleaner. When I was in my last marriage, our house, you could eat off the floor, right? But just harness that. Use that. You're gonna feel it anyway. Don't deny it. If you're gonna feel that negative emotion, harness it. Use it. Do it in spite of. Jenna. Virgo.exe, right? I love this. I love this. But see, that's him holding you accountable, right? So that is support. That is absolutely support. He's holding you accountable. I love this. Um, but getting back into plotting and finding my joy. I am extremely lucky in that I am in a situation where I don't have to go out and get a job and do both. I am extremely lucky and I'm so grateful for it. Living here with mom, it gives me the opportunity to get this business off the ground and not have to worry so much about money. Pardon me. Um, so I'm, grateful for that every day. And it makes me work harder. Um, because I know there's going to come a point when the funding is going to stop and I need to be able to be having already replaced that monthly income that I get in the funding with income from my business. And that happens in November. It ends in November. So, yeah. It doesn't worry me though, because I have worked so hard for the last, couple of months. Well, I started working on this back in October of last year. When actually it was before that. I left my last job in August. I spent September in this kind of weird, oh my God, what do I do haze. And then I got down to work because I knew that I was not going to get this opportunity again. So many times in my life, I have said to the universe, all I want to do is write. And the universe has gone, okay, we're taking your job away from you. Cannot tell you whether it be a layoff, a car accident, you name it. The universe found some way to go, you want to write full time? Here's the opportunity. And every single freaking time for the last 25 years, I have wasted that opportunity because I immediately start worrying about money and listening to the people who were telling me that I couldn't do this full time and all of that. And that's when I made the decision when I left that last job and I realized that I was leaving the job because, well, it was not a good work environment. It was quite dangerous, and I was almost very severely injured. Could have been like we're talking hospitalization. Could have been. And in my brain, on the way home that night, as I'm struggling to see, because when you get to be my age, you get astigmatism. Whether driving home in the dark, thinking to myself, I'm going to have to be driving home from this, what is already on my fifth shift, a toxic environment. As much as I loved the job itself, I'm in the winter time, in the snow, in a snowstorm because it's retail and the mall doesn't close. I'm too old for this crap. I am too flipping old for this crap. And so I immediately started putting out feelers as to could I get employment insurance given what happened. Picked up the phone the next morning and made a phone call. Yes, we will give you employment insurance because this is an unsafe work environment. Done like dinner. And then I started looking for the funding. And this time, I was not letting this opportunity pass me by. It took me a good solid month and a half to figure out how to manage my time as a full-time entrepreneur because I had never done it full-time before. It was done as a side hustle, right? Took me forever. Hey, Essie, how are you? Happy Mother's Day. Oh, I'm recovering from the flu. I hope you feel better. The crap has hit. The crap has hit, right? Why can't we enjoy freedom without feeling like we have to pay dues? Yolanda, you have hit the nail on the head, honey. Hit the nail on the head. And I think that a lot of us as female presenting people, that's kind of like a girl thing. I think it's something that we are taught, that we always have to be busy, we always have to carry the load, we have to do the work, especially in this day and age where it's you have to take care of the house, bear the children, raise the children, do the housework, cook the dinners, work a full-time job, and still get to soccer practice. Right? Right? Well, the husband just has to go to work, right? Mm. Mhm. And Jenna, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We don't have to carry that anymore. We just don't. It's not ours to carry. It's not ours to carry. And again, this is why I'm single. Because not only are we told that we have to do all of these things, men, and young men especially, have been told that women are supposed to do these things, right? But it's funny because you look at I say my boys, mine and my brother's boys, the three of them, they don't have that attitude. They do not have that attitude. When I look at those of you who were in my sprints today, when we got the knock on the door, that was the youngest of my brother's boys with his fiance and the baby. Matthew is he's the go-to guy. You know, he's the one who does 90% of everything. And Kate just comes along behind him and, like, I love you. And they have the perfect relationship. Um, this is, yeah, yeah. And that needs to stop, in my opinion. Absolutely needs to stop. I think a lot of good could happen if we just abolish guns worldwide. Because I'm telling you, it's crazy. Well, that's another topic for another day. But I agree, Jenna, 100%. So that's where I am with all of my writing stuff and the scroll and scribe stuff. We've got some really interesting things coming up. I will be doing a video this week that to kind of like outline this is what's going on to be going on in the accelerator, and this is why you should join and why this would be good for your business. Um, pardon me. But one of the other things that I wanted to, because I know I've got some Canadians in the group here. Pardon me. I'm telling you, as I mentioned this before, this boycott that we're doing of Loblaws, which is one of the, I guess, the big three grocery chains in Canada, it's changing the game, I think. I'm hearing reports of like local, like mom and pop grocery stores seeing an increase in their business. I'm hearing from people who work at the superstores in the area, which is Loblaws, that they're seeing anywhere between a 40 and 70% decrease in sales. 70%. But let me tell you, the Costco here, just up the road from me, has seen lines up out the door. They've been opening earlier to let people in because they're not going 2 stores over to Loblaws, right? I am just stoked about this. But boy, let me tell you, is it a change? One thing I have noticed, my fridge is nearly empty. That's not necessarily a bad thing because we have a bad habit in this household of going and getting groceries and then not using them before they go bad. It's made me really conscious about what I'm bringing into the house, about what we're eating on a daily basis. I was a little bit concerned that having to really think about my food was going to cause some problems for me. I know that some of you know my story when I was in high school, and the 6 months after I got out of high school, I was diagnosed with anorexia, and I was under 100 pounds. I'm 5'9", and I was under 100 pounds. And there's been times in my life where especially now that I'm big, that I would, be like, okay, I need to lose some weight. Therefore I need to be in a calorie deficit. I need to track my food. And within a week of tracking my food, I would become so obsessed that other things would go out the window, like my hygiene, my job, my cleaning the litter box, and I would become so obsessed. And I was really concerned that that was going to happen to me here. It has not. So I guess maybe I'm finally at a point in my life that I've got a handle on this. It's getting press in the US. Yeah, I heard that it's getting some press in the US. Now apparently next month we're boycotting Sobeys. Which is Canada-wide, but based here in Nova Scotia. The Sobeys are actually a Nova Scotia family. I dated a Sobey when I was just out of high school, and yeah, they're quite the family. They're very one percenter, but that won't be difficult for me because we don't generally shop at Sobeys anyway because they're too freaking expensive. They always have been, but it has really changed things like I need to go here for this thing and here for this thing and here for this thing instead of just getting everything all at once, ordering it online and going and picking it up. I can't do that now because I'm having to go to Costco to get my meat and then go up to the little health food store up here to get my produce. And then I'm going over to the Chinese market over here to get these couple of little things that I know they have. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I used to just eat the same thing every day, and it was a lot of processed stuff, like those flatbreads that I love so much that you can only get those at the superstore because they're President's Choice brand, which is their brand. I would eat those 5 days a week. It's processed, right? Asian markets, right? Asian markets for the win. Asian markets for the win. And we have a lot of Middle Eastern grocery stores here as well. We have a very large Middle Eastern population. And you've got or the Asian markets, like there's the Korean market downtown Halifax that apparently is spectacular, have not been. There's several Indian places you can go. There's the guy up the road here, that the Lebanese guy that makes the amazing hummus. So you're having to scatter around a lot. And that's okay. That's okay. And I think that we will not be giving this up when the boycotts are over. Lots of Middle Eastern markets just outside Detroit. Yeah. I really miss being in New Brunswick for this because there was 3 farmers markets, one within walking distance and the other 2 within driving distance, every Saturday and Sunday. And when I lived there, I used to buy all of my vegetables there. So I would eat in season. I used to buy all my baked goods there. If I wanted bread, that's where I got my bread. I would even buy meat there because there was a butcher there. And it's so much easier and way more convenient to order online and go pick up my groceries. And this is what has allowed this oligarchy that we have in Canada to raise prices through the roof. is that we are all leaning into the convenience of. And that happened over the that's a lesson we were taught over the pandemic. Here in Canada, or at least here in Nova Scotia, when we were in lockdown, you were allowed one person to go grocery shopping once a week. And so we took it a step further to ordering online and picking up our groceries so we didn't have to go into the store. I didn't want a chance bringing COVID home to mom. And so we all got into the habit of shopping at one grocery store instead of shopping at 3 or 4 different places and shopping the flyers and supporting local businesses. And they took advantage of that and started jacking up the prices. And people have finally come to the realization. And it's wonderful that we've come to this realization and are doing these boycotts, because all of these mom and pop places that actually made it through the pandemic are seeing such an increase in their sales. Now, this place I go to buy my produce, they actually opened during the pandemic because they had done the whole thing and they were going to open, and then blah, blah, blah. We had the lockdowns and they went ahead and opened anyway. And all of their produce is organic. And I mean, it's a tiny little store. Their produce section is no bigger than this room. And yet they are easily 2/3 cheaper than the large grocery chains. And the large grocery chains are sitting there and going, it costs us so much to ship stuff into our stores and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, what a crock. What a crock. You cannot tell me that you have a less of a supply chain than this couple up here with the 2 young children who own a health and wellness store. You cannot tell me that. But what I can see is your $2.4 billion bonus that you got in Q4 last year, ahead of your $1.8 billion salary. Right? So don't talk to me. I mean, these guys get bonuses in the not millions, but billions of dollars off of our backs. And we're done. We're done here in this province. I know there's some people saying in other provinces that this boycott is not happening the way it should. It sure as heck is on the East Coast of Canada. Let me tell you, we are done. Done. One of my former students, my book signing says, around where we live, it feels like it's going back to the old days of specialized stores. This is it. More stops. And it means better food. It does. It means more like conscious consumption and more it's conscious consumption of everything at this point, I think, because it's not just our groceries that because I would always pick up sundries at the grocery store as well, like body wash and toothpaste and all of this. We're becoming way more conscious about how we consume. Now, if I could just stay off of Amazon. Just saying, if I could just stay off of Amazon, right? And see, this is one cool thing about the UK that I've noticed. I have friends in the UK and different types of supermarkets. I would really like to see the whole farmers market type of thing happen all week long around here, all week long. Amazon is my downfall. I know, right? It's because it's so easy. It's so easy. And that's where I think we've fallen into overspending and allowing these companies way too much power in the market, is that we've fallen into the easy button, right? I love this, Yolanda. I love this. My former boss lives in Philadelphia. in the old city, walking distance to the market, to the Italian market there. And there's a couple of different vendors who know him when they see him coming, and they treat him very well. There's one lady, we joke and say that she's his girlfriend because he's married. The lady that sells vegetables, and she's Chinese, and she always gives him extra, a handful of carrots or some lemons and limes and this sort of thing because she loves them so much. But see, you have relationships with those types of people because it's a social thing to go to the farmer's market, right? I mean, that is one thing I will say I really miss about going to pick up my groceries. As some of you have heard me talk before about the young man who loads my groceries into my car for me. And we always chat. And he tells me about, that he went to Toronto and stayed with his uncle, and his uncle got him tickets to go see Shania Twain, and that he and his dad went on their yearly cruise, and he got COVID, and like we always talk, and I do miss that. I do miss that because that was my socialization. Because right now I'm like, get out, get into the store, get what I need, get out, use the self checkouts, and just be done with it. And maybe that's not quite the way I should be going about it. Because when we are done, because it's going to be Loblaws, then Sobeys, then Walmart, I don't think it's going to be Costco, because this is about changing the way the companies not only price their products, but how they treat their employees. And the Costco's here. I know people that work at the Costco up the road that I went to high school with and started working there before we got out of high school and are still there because they pay their employees really well. They treat them really well. They get amazing benefits. They get vacation time and PTO out the ears, and I don't think we're going to be doing a boycott on Costco. But once we are done, I think that we as a community here will have relearned how to shop for our groceries. I think that it's not going to go back to the way that it was. And I think that this is something that boycotts tend to do. It's like, yes, we have had enough of your big corporation and we're going to teach you a lesson, but we are also the ones getting schooled, right? That we learn other ways to consume. And I think that that's amazing. And the way that the community here in what we refer to as the HRM, the Halifax Regional Municipality, which is Halifax, Dartmouth, Bedford, Sackville, there's like 5 or 6 communities. It's bringing people together in a very positive way that we have not seen since before the pandemic. And I'm really super excited because, people have the power, and the 1%ers need to realize that. But this went off on a whole tangent that I didn't intend for it to. But I am really kind of, especially this, summer is coming. We're already seeing produce coming in out of Ontario, like strawberries and stuff like that. And I think that once, we start seeing some local produce here, it's going to change. But I mean, we live in a cold climate, so sometimes in the wintertime, it's hard to get produce from these small local shops because they don't have the supply chain to be bringing stuff in from the United States the way that the big 3 do. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I'm all for going to Costco for a lot of my produce in the wintertime because their prices are good. And like I said, they treat their employees really well. And I don't have a problem buying from them, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I have to find different snack food and lunches, because my 2 lunches were those flatbreads and then the President's Choice brand spring rolls. So now I'm like, wow, I have to really rethink the lunch, the irony, right? Right? Um, unless you go to a local, yeah. I mean, I don't see. I don't understand that, Jenna. I don't understand that because you guys have warm climates down there, like the people are growing in the southern United States year round. So that makes like zero because it's being all shipped off overseas. That's what it is. It's just being all shipped off overseas. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But so I've been talking nonstop for 45 minutes. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? I'm just looking here. I was just wondering, does anybody else do this where like you print off a calendar and then you're trying to sit there and figure out what you need to do when you've already done it in your HP90? I don't know why. Is that procrastinating? I think maybe a little bit. Maybe procrastinating. I tell you what we're going to do right now. We're going to do the giveaway. Choose a live stream. Okay, match text. Okay, let me. All right, gang. Here's what I want you to put in. Put this, oh, come on. Do it. Give me a hashtag M&M, and then we'll draw for a ticket to Inkspire Indie. For those of you coming in on the replay, just leave a comment down below, and I will draw on Wednesday because I'm also going to draw on the for today's sprints as well. So come on, guys, get your M&M in there, and then there will be a draw on Tuesday for during Tough Love Tuesday. And then there will also be and then it'll just be sprints after that because the next Tuesday I'm not doing Tough Love Tuesday. Jenna, you don't need to do this because I already got a ticket put aside for you. So got 4 in so far. But, hey, Sako, how are you, honey? Oh, you already have a ticket too, honey. You already have a ticket too. So we'll give it another minute. But hello, Victoria and Devin. So the next couple of weeks are going to be hopefully a little bit slower for me. I'm kind of hoping. All right. I'm going to give it another minute and then I'll do the draw. I've not used this before, but I think it'll be kind of cool. So any questions or anything? I mean, I'm up for answering coaching questions or anything like that during this live stream, that's for sure. And as long as we don't wake His Highness. All right, so we've got a few in. I'm going to go ahead. For those of you who are coming in on the replay, just leave a comment. And also, if you don't win this, then, pardon me, then you can leave a comment as well. All right, we're going to do the draw. Oh, wait, do I have to share my screen? I have to share my screen. Present, share screen. Chrome tab. This tab. Is it gonna, hang on. It's gonna be cranky. Bear with me, y'all, because like I said, this is the first time I've done this. Can I move tab to a new window? There we go. All right. Share my screen. Window. All right, you ready? Let's go. Sako's already got it. She's already got it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Watch it come up with my name or something this time. It jinxed us, you guys. It jinxed us. That's hilarious. Oh my. Victoria! Victoria! You win, you win. That was so funny. Okay, congrats, Victoria. If you want to, I'm going to give you my email address. You can email me at powerplaypress@gmail.com. So I have your email address so that we can send you the link to the Zoom. That was so funny, you guys. Loved it. Loved it. All right. Thank you guys for being here with me. This was fun. I find I really, really enjoy these little kind of informal chats, you know? It's a lot of fun. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off a little early. And I hope that you guys are having a fantastic Mother's Day for those who celebrate, and all the love and hugs to you. Love you guys to bits. I really, really do. I really do. Appreciate you so much. We will see you hopefully on Tuesday over on the Scroll and Scribe channel for Tough Love Tuesday. I'm going to be channeling my inner Matt Schaefer, and we will see you later. Love you to bits.